guys. Welcome to That Florida Feeling. How is everybody this week? I hope everybody's doing good. Thanks to everybody who's interacted with the Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, and all the social media pages combined. Although I do have Blue Sky now. If you know what Blue Sky is, I didn't know what it was. I think it's kind of cool. Also, I'm really glad that this is one thing that Jason Kelsey's not on because I'm really tired of him. And I'm an Eagles fan. Sorry. I'm just really tired of seeing that guy everywhere. Okay. I know that has nothing to do with Florida, but I had to get it out. Hope you guys enjoyed the replay of Nub City. Sometimes it's nice to replay old episodes for my newer listeners. I do have a really extensive library as I do weekly episodes. So if you're looking for a topic and you're wondering if I've done it, go check out my library. You can also find everything, like all my episodes on YouTube, which is kind of nice because I know some people don't always like to hear it through like Spotify or Apple. So that's been kind of cool to be able to get them on YouTube. I'm kind of glad that I was able to get that up there. Thank you to everybody who's just said hi, reached out. I've made so many friends through this podcast, and I'm grateful for each and every one of you. So thank you. Today is actually a topic from a listener. This is a listener suggested, and I absolutely love getting suggestions from you guys because half the time it's stuff that I would not have even thought of. So this is great. And today we're actually going to talk about Ocala and its equestrian roots. I know I talked about the Ocala National Forest, but I didn't really touch on the equestrian roots of Ocala or Marion County. And that is actually something that is really big in Ocala. I mean, that's really what it's more well known for than Ocala National Forest. So that's what we're actually going to talk about today. Ocala is the county seat of Marion County, and it does sit in northern central Florida. The city has about 65,000 people that call it home. It is home to Silver Springs State Park, Rainbow Springs State Park, and the Ocala National Forest. If you do want to hear about that, I do have an episode on it. Check it out. But Ocala is also considered the horse capital of the world, which is kind of cool that that's in Florida. Ocala is actually named after Ocala, or Ocala. I saw two different ways to pronounce it. Was a Timucua village and a chiefdom that was recorded in the 16th century. Its name is believed to be Big Hammock, or Song or Singer of Admiration. Hernando de Soto's expedition of Florida actually recorded Ocala in 1539 during his exploration of what is present-day southeastern United States. So it's been around quite a while. The site of Ocala has not officially been found. They don't quite actually know where it was. They do have an idea. They think it's in present-day southwestern Marion County, possibly near the Withlacoochee River, which would make sense because a lot of times people did settle near bodies of water. So that could probably make the most sense. Now, they did make references to Ocala since the 16th and early 17th centuries, but they didn't give the actual location for the village or chiefdom. So they have been referencing this since the Hernando de Soto exploration. A Spanish mission, San Luis de Aliquale, was established in 1630. Again, no specific location was given, which is really strange to me because you would think like they would say, hey, we're here. But no. Again, the mission could have also been near the Withlacoochee River, which would have also been near that chiefdom, but they didn't really say. Aliquale was not named on the list of Spanish missions in 1655. And again, we also do not see Ocala mentioned after 1655, so it disappeared from history somewhere in the early 17th century. No known reasons given as to why it disappeared or how it disappeared. We just know that somewhere between 1539 and 1655, it somewhere ceased to exist. So we don't know if it kind of got the disease that usually, like when Spanish came, they either took them over or killed them by disease. We don't know if that either of those happened or if they just kind of assimilated with another population. The area did get inhabited again, though, by the Creek people and the Seminole people and the free and fugitive African Americans who were seeking refuge in Florida. The Spanish did, though, continue to rule the area. But again, it did shift from Spain to Britain and back again a couple times until Florida was finally given to the newly formed United States in 1821. And that meant that slavery was now legal, and the Native Americans were now a problem in this area. If you want to know about that, I do have 3 episodes on the Seminole Wars that talks all about that as well. But the U.S. built Fort King near the present-day site of Ocala, and that was supposed to serve as a buffer between the Seminoles and the whites, who were kind of really starting to settle Florida. The U.S. was pushing for people to settle the new Florida territory, but the Seminoles, that was their land. So Fort King was supposed to be that buffer. It was supposed to be kind of a trade point, kind of a buffer, kind of a help for the whites. And it didn't really, they could have done better. The area was actually plagued by the Seminole War, and the fort was actually a really important base during that second Seminole War. The fort would actually go on later to become the first courthouse for Marion County in 1844. So the fort did stand, it did survive, and it did become a very important place. Now, Ocala was officially established as a city 5 years later in 1849, and it really did develop around Fort King. Greater Ocala is known as the Kingdom of the Sun because they were big on agriculture in the area. I mean, fertile land, great place to grow things. Plantations grew in the area very fast. But unfortunately, they were very dependent on slave labor in the cities in this early time when they were growing Ocala. They were really, really heavy on citrus in the area until the Great Freeze, which happened in 1894. Got my numbers backwards. 1894 to 1895, which was a great freeze for actually a lot of Florida. And that's really kind of when a lot of people realized that citrus was not the best thing to grow in northern Florida. And that's really when people started switching to different means of industry, especially in northern Florida. And Ocala was not any different. So they really had to think of another way to get industry in that area. And so as Ocala switched industries and continued to grow during the Reconstruction era, some really cool things kind of happened in the city. Ocala was represented by several African Americans in Florida's House of Representatives and on the local level as the state began to rebuild after the Civil War. And this was really different than a lot of other places in what would be considered the South. And so that was really cool that they were a little bit ahead of their time. The railroad also helped change Ocala's future as it reached the city in June of 1881. The railroad helped to move things faster. It helped to get them out. It helped to create new industry. Whatever they were still growing agriculturally, it got it out faster to create more money. And the city was really continuing to grow. And it was growing fast until a fire pretty much destroyed all of its downtown on Thanksgiving Day in 1883. Small, minor, large setback for Ocala. But they didn't really let that stop them. The fire caused Ocala to change and rebuild in ways that they would never have considered if this hadn't have happened. When the fire happened, the city decided to rebuild in a new way. It was encouraged to rebuild with brick, granite, and steel, so that if a fire like that ever did happen again, it wouldn't destroy so quickly. It wouldn't spread from building to building in a matter of seconds. Because the city was wooden before that. And now they were going to be brick. So Ocala actually became known as Brick City by 1888. And this actually helped the city grow faster. And the city continued to grow. In December of 1890, the Farmers Alliance and Industrial Union, which was actually the forerunner to the Populist Party, chose to hold their convention in Ocala, putting it on the map again. And the Alliance even adopted a platform that would become as the Ocala Demand. So basically, this, would be known as the Populist Party, decided Ocala is where we're going to hold our convention. And then the Alliance adopted a platform that became the Ocala Demands. And again, Ocala is now continuing to be put on the map. So that's helping it even grow faster. And it actually held one of the highest growth rates in Florida in the 19th and 20th centuries. People like the area. They like the climate. They like the proximity to the newly formed national forest. The historic downtown area was booming. People were coming to the area. The industry was growing. And the historic downtown area is actually largely preserved. It's actually a large residential area. And it was officially designated that in 1984. East Fort King Street has some really great examples of Victorian architecture. And the original Fort King is actually a National Historic Landmark, and it was preserved so in 2004. So if you actually want to see some really cool old Victorian, like what Florida used to look like old Florida, definitely go check out Ocala, because you can see that it was just preserved so well. Wasn't that what wasn't destroyed in the fire. But Ocala became known for something else, something entirely different, and something that it's still known for to this day. And that is that it's the horse capital of the world. So how did it get there? Well, the first thoroughbred farm in Florida was developed in Marion County in 1943 by Carl G. Rose. And it was the first thoroughbred horse farm. And as he developed it, the area soon became really ideal for these kind of farms as it developed. And it quickly became like people realized that this is perfect for this kind of area. And Ocala became the center of horse breeding. And it really is a great area for it. Affirmed was bred in Marion County, and he won all 3 races in Triple Crown Series in 1978. And that really boosted interest in the area. And Affirmed was a chestnut horse breed. It was a chestnut horse bred on Harbor View Farm in Marion County and was bred by Lewis Wolfson. Affirmed had a lot of major wins, but he was the 11th Triple Crown winner. And for those of you who don't follow horse racing, that is rare to actually be a Triple Crown winner. That means that you won the main 3. So for that to come out of Ocala, that is huge, especially for that area. And once that really happened, people really started to notice the horse farms in Ocala and to look at them and to realize, okay, take these people seriously. They know what they're doing. What's even really cool is that Ocala is only one of 5 cities permitted under the Chamber of Commerce guidelines that can actually use the statement horse capital of the world. By the way, the other 4 cities are actually in France. Ocala is the only one in the United States or even outside of Europe that can use this title. So Ocala went from having a citrus industry to having another kind of industry to now really having an equestrian industry. And it really boosts Ocala. And honestly, it makes up the majority of their industry. It actually usually brings in between 45,000 and 50,000 jobs in the city. And that includes breeding, training, and all the support that goes into the equine industry. And the industry itself actually brings in over $2.2 billion in revenue yearly. And yes, if you're wondering, owning a horse, anything in the riding industry, anything to do with it is very expensive. Having a horse, maintaining a horse, the clothes, the lessons, all that is super expensive. Like if you're actually going to do like dressage and stuff, it is some money. Now, Ocala itself is actually home to over 1,200 horse farms and breeds over 50 different types of horses. And Ocala has a great combination of consistent year-round weather, pretty flat areas that like lets horses be able to roam, and it really makes great areas to focus on these beautiful animals. And of course, it also has areas where you can train and places where they could build stables, arenas, and then other places where people could come and camp and stay for these shows. Post-time Farms and Ocala actually serve to host one of the largest horse shows in the country. Horses in the Sun is one of the largest shows in the country that brings people, horses, and money into Marion County annually. And this show includes dressage and jumper events that last about 2 months, and it generates between $6 and $7 million for the local economy each year. So that's really where your revenue, your jobs, and your visitors come from. And that's how it's helped put Ocala on the map for as well as being known as the horse capital of the world, but also has helped Florida. And of course, this show is amazing. And the arena, oh my gosh, the arena is so nice. The show features over 100 different breeds from all over. The breeds include the Tennessee Walker, Pasifino, a Morgan horse, saddle breed, draft horse, and the American Quarter Horse. They also have other equine events in the area, including mounted shooting by Florida Outlaws, endurance rides, barrel races, extreme cowboy events, jumper shows, trick shows, parades, draft pools, rodeo events, and more. So basically, anything you could think of to do with horses is going to happen during these events. And that just brings in more people. Now, Ocala was also the site of the inaugural point-to-point Florida steeplechase at the Florida Horse Park in 2022. So great things are really happening in Ocala, and it's great that the equine industry is really not just taken off, but continue to grow in this area. Ocala is also home to the Florida Horse Park, that is a 500-acre equestrian complex that hosts sporting events and shows year-round. The facility is home to 350 acres of grass fields, 350 permanent stalls, and an 80,000 square foot covered arena. It has 2 complete FEI-approved show jump sets, barrels for barrel racing, and over 100 cross-country jumps that range in height. The park has events going on year-round, RV site for people who are going to the events, trails for trail riding at the facility, plenty of places to put the trailers for horses, and anything else you can imagine. If you really want to see an amazing arena, go look up the Florida Horse Park. It is insane what they have at this place. Ocala is home to the World Equestrian Center. This is another massive place. This whole complex is insane as well. The World Equestrian Center also has year-round events. They have on-site dining, retail, they're pet-friendly, and they have plenty of stalls and rooms for you and your horses. Like, it's crazy here. The indoor areas that you can see the shows are climate controlled, and they have a massive seating arena. Ocala takes its equestrian roots very, very seriously, and they understand that this is an industry that can only continue to grow. They also understand that they got that title by taking it very seriously. What's really cool, though, is you can actually go and visit some of these farms to see these magnificent animals just roaming. You can take a guided tour at Gypsy Gold Farm and meet Gypsy Vanner horses, and they're gorgeous. These are magnificent animals. You can see how the farms work and the beautiful countryside in Central Florida. But of course, if you actually want to go to Ocala and ride a horse, that's absolutely doable as well. A lot of places will actually let you ride. Some, like Cactus Jack Trail Rides, will take you through acres of trails on the Cross Greenway Trail system that are in the backwoods of Marion County, that also lets you take in a horse ride as well as the local wildlife. Yes, you'll probably see an alligator. So Ocala, it really is just so much more than Rainbow Springs or Silver Springs or even the National Forest. The area really is a charming town. Like, the downtown is gorgeous, especially if you go and you see the Victorian houses or take in the little shops or the horse shows. But they really have dedicated themselves to breeding just absolutely gorgeous animals. The historic downtown, like I said, is a great place to wander through. You can go hiking on the trails. You know, it's a great place for like a weekend event, even if you're not catching a horse show. You'll see some wildlife, or you'll see Florida Man. Anything can happen, especially if you're near the National Forest. I'm not even going to lie to you on that one. I have seen Florida Man in the National Forest. Today's Florida Man actually does come from Ocala. Florida Man accused of dumping nearly 3,000 pounds of trash in Ocala National Forest. Gary Cardwell faces littering and drug charges after Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation and Commission found dump site with nearly 3,000 pounds of trash that included household appliances, furniture, and drugs. First of all, why are you dumping drugs? Like, that's my question. It's like when you see the things about the Halloween candy, nobody's giving out edibles for Halloween candy. So why are you dumping drugs? Sorry. So they figured out who it was because they actually found this guy's mail in the trash site. So like, not only was he dumping like household appliances and furniture, but he was the idiot who like was dumping his mail. So like, all they had to do was go find his mail and then know exactly who it was. Criminals are not smart, y'all. I hope you enjoyed listening about Ocala and its equestrian roots today. Hopefully it's someplace now that you want to take a weekend getaway to. Thanks again for suggesting this topic. It was really fun. I actually had no idea that, I've been around the horse world from living in Tennessee and dressage, but I did not have any idea that Ocala had that much to do with it, or just how big or how nice these arenas or complexes were in Ocala. It's insane. I can't wait to go back now and actually pay attention. I hope you guys did have fun learning about it. And like I said, a new place to check out for a weekend getaway. Please keep the suggestions coming, you guys. I really do have fun. It's a part of Florida that I get to learn about again or pay attention to now. Thanks, guys. Don't forget to wear your sunscreen. Be nice to one another. As this comes out after Thanksgiving, I hope that everybody did have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Drink your water, guys. And as always, that's your daily dose of sunshine.
This podcast is a production of Unfiltered Studios. If you would like to know more about joining Unfiltered Studios, please visit our website at unfpod.com for more information.